Welcome to the weekly reset, where every week we start with inspiration. Inspiration. Now, why would we take the time to go sit in front of a computer and watch some dude talk about something when we could be out playing or running or walking in the sunshine or watching football or baseball or whatever? Why would we do that? Why would we spend that half hour there? And there's a whole lot of interesting answers, but the most important one, I think, is inspiration. Because inspiration is what makes the difference between a great athlete and a gold medal winner. It's not just inspiration that happens on the day of the meet. It's the inspiration that happens on the days of training. And for you and for me, the days that go by each week when we have to step up, show up and step up to our highest self. And what brings us to that point is inspiration, being reminded that we are more than we think we are, being reminded that we are in fact great, because we're the only one that's ever been, each of us. So we're great. No one else has any of our features. We're great. That's inspiration. And we need to be willing to pick up the mouse or whatever it is and get our weekly inspiration every week. So this is your weekly reset. This is where we come for inspiration. Now, today, we're going to talk about something. Boy, am I ever in love with this. It's called Your Love Heals All Things. Your love heals all things. We're talking about the love that comes from your whole system. We're talking about the love that comes from your heart. We're talking about the love that comes from you as this spiritual, eternal beingness that you are. We're going to talk about love, not that romantic love, nor love for your family even, or for your pets, but the mother of all loves, the dimension from which comes romance and deep caring for one another. It comes from that. Let's focus today on the source of that delicious feeling we call love. The source. Rhonda Byrne says there's no greater power in the universe than the power of love. No greater power in the universe than the power of love. And Rhonda, you are so awfully right. So right. I'm just so excited about the fact that there is no other thing in the universe that can even come close to the power of love. And I think if I keep calling it love here today, it's going to be easy for us to let our default thinking take us back to that expression of love instead of the source of love. And I don't want to talk about the expression of love right now. I want to talk about the source of love. Because if we know what the source of love is, then it's easy for us to go there, especially when times are really tough and we need to find that source. We can go to that source. So in order for us to keep our minds in the same place, I'm going to refer to this magnificent flow of richness that's love. I'm going to refer to it as grace. Grace, then, is the presence of the divine. That's love. You can call it God if you like, but to do so, in my mind, shrinks it down to a concept, perhaps of God the Father or Jesus or some other God. It's a concept. When Moses came down off the mountain with the 10 Commandments, uh, the first of those 10 was the most important of all of them. And without the first of them, none of the rest of them even made sense. Because without getting that first one set in our minds and in our consciousness, and then living that truth, the other 9 don't harmonize with one another or with it. So let me repeat that, because it's vital to our ability to life and to live well and to live with freedom. That's our goal, isn't it? To live free. Here's that phrase again. Unless we get the first commandment firmly set in our minds, the other 9 cannot harmonize with it or even with one another. And I can tell you something even greater. If you get that first commandment, you don't need the other 9. You don't need the other because you know the other 9 just happened. What am I talking about? Am I going back into the scriptures now? Am I talking about some kind of scriptural uh, sacred teachings? I'm still talking about love. I'm still talking about grace. So knowing and living that first commandment is knowing and living grace, and it'll set you free. It'll set you free in this life, not in some mythical heaven beyond. Here it is, the phrase, I am the Lord thy God, and thou shalt not have strange gods before me. Now, that wasn't a statement of some supreme male guy. That wasn't some guy in the sky. That was truth. That was truth. That was truth speaking to Moses through the sun and the wind and the starry nights. He spent alone fasting and meditating. That was nature with a capital N. He didn't come down from the mountain and say, "Oh, God the Father came and to me and carved out these words on a stone." No, it was not a being that came to him. He became the presence himself. He became the presence of grace, the presence of joy, the presence of love, the presence of nature. He became that. And in so doing, he became all wisdom. Then what came through him were the 10 directives that would help his people live full and meaningful lives while feeling free and living in joy. Swami Vivekananda said, all powers in the universe are already ours. It is we who have put our hands before our eyes and cry out that it's dark. All powers in the universe are already ours. We're talking about love. We're talking about grace. We're talking about all the powers in the universe, already ours. Swami Vivekananda said, it is we who have put our hands before our eyes and cry out that it is dark. A really good name for that presence is grace or joy or, of course, love. That grace is not only universal wisdom, it's the power and the intelligence that flows our universe in harmony, creates plants and stars, and keeps our bodies alive. Now, what I'm talking about here is inspiration. Realizing that there's a depth in you that you've never reached. I know some of you are very sacred and holy and probably long-time meditators and you've done amazing things in your life. And I still say to you, there is a depth in you that you have never reached. Because I don't care how much you expand, there's always more. If you're a long distance runner, baseball, football, soccer player, gymnast, high diver, whatever you are, free diver, whatever you are, author, mom, dad, office worker, attorney, movie actor, actress. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what your life is. There's a depth in you that you've never reached. And that depth is calling out to you. And the reason that we have visions, the reason that we have goals, the reason that we're pulled forward in life by visions and goals is because we need to come up against those obstacles that we think are bigger than us. The distance, running a distance. Can I go another mile? Can I improve the way I do this? Can I improve the way I do that? Can I get more success in life? Can I have more joy every day? Can I give more joy to others every day? Can I be more loving? Can I be kinder? Can I be more generous? Can I help myself and others live more fully? That's the depth within you calling out, saying, come on, expand. Come on, get on with it. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and get on with it. Open yourself up. Let yourself go deeper. Know you can. Come up against that wall that says you cannot, and look at that wall that says you cannot and say, I'm here to take you on. I will go through you. That's the power of the universe. That's the grace. That's the wisdom. That's joy. That's love. That's who Moses was talking about, or what Moses was talking about when in that first commandment says, I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not have strange gods before me. Because when we get a mythological God going on in our minds, before the fact that we are in the presence of the divine and we are the divine, then we start, instead of owning ourselves as the creator of our realities, instead of owning ourselves as the creator of what happens in our lives, and reaching for greater and greater and greater levels of joy. Why? Because joy is life itself. We didn't come into this planet to suffer. We didn't get incarnated here to suffer. What the hell? Didn't need. How do you grow and suffer? What is suffering? Like you're sitting in the bottom of the pit and people are throwing rocks at you. How is that growth? How does that? What's meaningful about that? It makes any sense at all that we would be here to suffer? Gosh, no. We're here to grow in wisdom and in joy. In wisdom and in joy. And the way we do that is we keep reaching for more wisdom through joy. You can't gain wisdom without joy. You can't. You might gain knowledge. That's intellectual stuff. You might be able to write books in your mind and put them in the library of your subconscious, but that's not joy. That's not life. That's just information. So for you to find joy, for you to find the power within you, to dig deeper, to be wider, to be more, to reach more, in order to find that, we have to be willing to let go of our old victim stance of I can't because. Oh no, you can. You can. You most definitely can. I have seen people that are just normal people, not geniuses, not extraordinary in any way. I have seen them begin to recognize that depth within them and move into it and create miracles, things that cannot on any other level of consciousness be done. They have done those. The most recent science estimates that the number of cells in your body are around 30 trillion. About 330 billion, I want to say that again, 330 billion of those cells are replaced every day. Replaced with what? Why? Is there some guy that comes and shoots it into my arm, or is there a download, or is it food I eat my food, and where do those cells come? 330 billion being replaced every day. The wisdom and the system of that flow of replicating cells is wisdom, it's joy, it's grace, it's love. It's the one that says, I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt not have strange gods before me. Not only gods that you worship some mythical concept of God, but also the gods of money, the gods of self aggrandizement. We need to get those things out of the way and be love. That's where our power comes from. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's one of my heroes, he's just an amazing, amazing man who's worked as a scientist and as a metaphysician in opening up so many avenues and so many doors and windows of reality that we didn't see before. He said there are as many atoms in a single molecule of your DNA as there are stars in a typical galaxy. There are as many atoms in a single molecule of your DNA as there are stars in a typical galaxy. Then how can we be less than magnificent, beyond what we could possibly imagine? Neil deGrasse Tyson went on to say, we are each of us a little universe. So you see, love is the very presence of all. It's not only the intelligence, but the actual mechanism that keeps all the universes, both visible and invisible, being daily created, remade, and harmonizing with each other. Even the tiniest mote of dust is a part of that great flow. All is grace. All is love. That's the intelligence. That's the wisdom. That's the true beingness of life itself. So if we get that love is the only God there is and is supreme over any artificial God, then we're in true worship. Then we are in true worship. We flow love through us into every part of life around us. And we become a part of the river of grace. And we're set free. And our lives then are becoming harmony and joy, increasingly. Paulo Coelho said, if we seek something, that same thing is seeking us. That's the way we create miracles in the universe, is to not have a block somewhere in us that say, well, I'm only deserving of XYZ. I'm only worthy of XYZ. I can't do any more than this because, well, I just can't, because I'm frail, or I'm old, or I'm skinny, or I'm female, or I'm male, or I'm uneducated, or all of those things that we say. If we can get those out of the way and be love, then we become who we came here to be, and we contribute to our world through our magnificence, not through our self-aggrandizement, through our true magnificence, like the magnificence of a sunset. Remember, Paulo Coelho said, if we seek something, that same something is seeking us. So grace is all abundant and is eternal. Love is energy, intelligent energy. And we need only dare go beyond loving. We only dare need go beyond loving, one step beyond loving, to become love itself. And then we stop being little worrywarts, fearful of what the future holds, and thinking we have to intellectually understand everything rather than to spiritually know everything. Again, it's not static, like an attitude or a belief. It's the action of life itself. It's moving beyond your brain mind, trusting that there's something greater than your intellectual knowledge. You know, and I know that intellectual knowledge, that intellect's going to go away one day. We're going to leave these bodies and we're going to leave that intellect behind. What we'll carry with us is our knowingness, our wisdom, and our joy. That is who we are. And we are here to expand ourselves in wisdom and in joy. And we do that by rising above life's trials and difficulties and knowing who we are because of that. We find that depth within us, and it's so amazing. Love, love. I'm going to end today by quoting some people that I really admire. Paulo Coelho again. He wrote a book about being a spiritual warrior, a warrior of the light. And from that book comes this: because the warrior of light believes in miracles, miracles begin to happen. Because he's sure that his thoughts can change his life begins to change. Because he's certain that he will find love, love appears. Now, in the 1500s, a man you know well, who was a great sculptor, a great painter, a great creator, a great inventor, first man to invent the helicopter, Leonardo da Vinci, in the 1500s, said, learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. He's talking about love. Klaus Joel said, the universe is saying, allow me to flow through you, unrestricted, and you'll see the greatest magic you've ever seen. Oh, that's powerful. Allow me to flow through you unrestricted, and you'll see the greatest magic you've ever seen, says the universe, says love, says grace, says wisdom. Carl Sagan, great astronomer, great scientist, said everything amazing about the universe is inside of you, and the two are inseparable. Now, I think about that, and I think about that, and I think about my favorite parts of the universe out there are nebula. Nebulae probably is the plural of that. But you look at the pictures of those, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The colors, the depths, the dimensions. There's nothing anywhere in the universe like that. They are so spectacular. And you could get on a spaceship and say, I'm going to go to the end of the universe. And 100,000 million trillion years from now, you'll still be searching for the end of the universe. There is no end to the universe. There is no end to the dimensions of life. They're unlimited. We are waves upon the ocean, are we not? On the ocean of grace. Eckhart Tolle said, you are not in the universe. You are the universe, an intrinsic part of it. Ultimately, you're not a person. You're but a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself. He said, what an amazing miracle this is. You are grace. You are love. You are that great one who spoke to Moses through the wind and the starry nights, who spoke to Moses in the morning sun, and of a flower that may have been growing near a gray stone on the slope where his cave was. You are that powerful voice that said, I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not have strange gods before me. Finally, Thich Nhat Hanh, God bless you, you wonderful master, said enlightenment for a wave in the ocean is the moment the wave realizes it's water. Think with me on that. Enlightenment for a wave in the ocean is the moment the wave realizes it's water. When we realize we're not separate but a part of the great, huge ocean of everything, we become enlightened. When we realize we're not separate, but a part of the huge ocean of everything, we become enlightened. We realize this through practice, and we remain awake and aware of this through more practice. In other words, it's not going to just happen today. What you and I have to do is open the deep realization. Maybe you need to listen to this talk 20 times. You need to please get. I ask you, the children of tomorrow ask you, your fellow human beings ask you, the trees and the forests and the seagrasses and the coral reefs and the fish and the whales and all of life asks you, please become who you came here to be. Dare to be great. Dare to be all that you came here to be. That the rest of us might, by seeing your example, awaken and change our lives. Be the inspiration that you seek. Be the inspiration that you seek. Thank you for being with me. Thank you. I'd like for, if you will, to go to my website, bobtrask.com, and leave a donation so that I can keep this work and my other good work in the world going on. Money oils the wheels of progress, and I appreciate your help. And also my book, Up She Falls, a novel about a woman a conservative woman who has nothing to do with New Thought or New Age or meditation or any of that malarkey. She's an assistant district attorney. She's in a traffic jam and her phone rings, and it's the voice of a woman tells her to go find something, and it gives her those directions. And when she calls back, she finds out that the woman that called her is dead. The woman that called her is dead. And she knew her, but she didn't know her in this life. And she falls up into the light, and the dramas that go on, the crimes, the murders, the suicides, everything that goes on in her life, she has to handle through a brand new way of looking at life. It's exciting. And I hope you'll go pick it up. Up She Falls by Bob Trask. Now, you want to stick around for another half hour? We're going to share with each other and talk and maybe laugh and be inspired and talk a little bit about what we talked about today. If so, please stay with us. If not, I understand, and I bless you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.